Hello, my name is Maverick, and I want to thank you for joining my webinar today. I'm going to talk about my hypnotic prospecting emails and how I've learned to put hypnotic language into my emails when I'm sending prospecting emails out, because obviously you're a prospector, you're a demand gen or a lead gen expert. That's why you're here. I probably received one of your emails already. That's why I'm contacting you so you can come check this webinar out, because I think it would be valuable for you to learn how to do this just like I've learned how to do this. Okay, so during this talk, we're going to learn how I combined hypnosis with my email prospecting efforts to subconsciously persuade my future customers to respond to my cold emails and texts and create rapid rapport, to advance my SaaS deals forward faster and more often, and how you can do the same and create unlimited and unbounded levels of lead generation and become an unbelievable pipeline generator today. My name is Maverick, and we're going to cover what are hypnotic prospecting emails exactly, the key differences in how your prospects read your cold prospecting emails consciously versus how they subconsciously read your cold prospecting emails. Then we're going to talk about a case study on how I've helped Kevin S. to use hypnotic prospecting emails to persuade his potential clients to respond faster and more often. And then I'm going to share the 5 reasons why your current attempts at prospecting emails are failing and what you can do to finally achieve the success you desire. We're also going to cover the 4 elements of a highly persuasive hypnotic prospecting email. I'm going to cover another case study on how I helped Amy use hypnotic language patterns to easily persuade her prospect to reply back to her immediately, thus preventing them from going dark on her. We all hate when people go dark on us, don't we? Then I'm going to show step by step how to create your own custom hypnotic prospecting email. Okay, and then I'm going to share my personal story of how I accidentally discovered the power of hypnotic prospecting emails while I was working as a seller and as a hypnotist on the side. So I'm excited to share that story. Now, this webinar is for you if you are struggling with getting your prospects to respond to your current emails or LinkedIn messages. This is for you if your prospecting emails response rate is a little too low for comfort. We all know what that feeling is like. This is for you if you are continually stressed out, overly anxious, depressed, or having trouble sleeping because your lead flow is drying up. This is for you if you already prospect pretty well now, but you know you could get even better at it, except you don't really know what else you could do exactly. This is for you if you've never heard about or created hypnotic prospecting emails before, and you're starting completely from scratch. And this webinar is for you if you're simply looking for a new way to become a better prospector. Okay, first let's talk about what hypnotic prospecting emails are and what makes them different from regular prospecting. Okay, number 1, hypnotic prospecting emails incorporate persuasive hypnotic language. This is language that talks to the subconscious mind. And all hypnotic prospecting emails include some form or some pattern of persuasive hypnotic language in them to be considered a hypnotic prospecting email. It also does not talk about specific products or service. It does, however, talk with both your prospect's conscious and subconscious mind at the same time, in parallel. It is also intentionally incorrect, because the idea of a hypnotic prospecting email is to distract the conscious mind while the subconscious mind can receive the commands that you've put hypnotically within your hypnotic email. Okay? The only purpose of a hypnotic prospecting email is to get a cold prospect to respond quickly and to respond right now if possible. Okay? So when your prospects read your initial email, how does that email talk to both their conscious and subconscious minds? Okay, first, consciously, they understand time and all the concepts of time within your email. So any mention of something in the past or something that's going to happen in the future, or a timestamp or something that's time-based, for example, 12:01 a.m. Pacific Standard Time or something like that, consciously, that's what the conscious mind is reading and understands. However, the subconsciously, no one understands any of that. Your subconscious mind only understands this moment, right now, okay? Consciously, you're going to notice incorrect grammar, spelling, format, all the things, the structure of the email. Consciously, you're going to read that and understand that and notice that. However, subconsciously, Your prospects are only going to understand how they feel about the email once you consciously read it. So the subconscious doesn't understand language. It only understands how it feels about your conscious when your conscious is reading the language. Because your conscious mind understands language and the concept of language, but subconsciously it has no idea. It only gets a feeling. Either it feels good about it or it feels not so good about it. Okay? Consciously, your mind looks for the who, what, where, and when in the email. Subconsciously, it's going to understand the how, and it's going to look for the how. And then together, the conscious and subconscious mind determine the why. Why is this email important? Why am I reading? Why do I want to continue reading this email? Okay, so that's what's happening consciously and subconsciously. And what you need to understand about hypnotic prospecting emails is that they always talk to both the conscious and the subconscious mind at the same time. That's how it works. Now let's talk about a case study of how I helped Kevin with his struggle with prospecting emails. And I helped him to achieve an ultimate level of success with his lead flow and his pipeline generation. Okay, because he was in a new job as an account development representative, ADR. He had the passion, the desire, to drive to create successful lead flow. He wanted to do it, he knew how to do it, but his prospective emails were predictable and they were boring. They looked like every other cold email out there that anyone was receiving. His response rate was almost zero, with no way of knowing why, and he soon became discouraged and wondered if he was cut out for this. But after consulting with me, I taught him the power of hypnotic language. I rewrote his prospecting email to be more hypnotically persuasive. I ensured that it talked to both the conscious and the subconscious mind, just like I just shared with you right now. This gave him hope that his response rate would finally start going up. And before you knew it, he was steadily increasing his lead flow and pipe gen. And since then, he's learned how to write his own hypnotic prospecting emails himself. So basically, I taught him how to fish instead of just giving him that one fish that one time. Okay, so that's what I'm hoping to do in this webinar, is teach you how to fish as well, just like I did with Kevin. Now, there's 5 reasons why your current prospecting emails are failing and what you can do to finally achieve the success you desire. First of all, your prospecting email looks like what anyone expects. It looks like everything out there. It's boring. It's the same thing that everyone has already seen before. You're trying to educate your prospect. Look, I'm going to be frank with you. I received a prospecting email from you, most likely, and you were trying to tell me about your product or service. You were trying to educate me on what you did and the value of it, etc. So that's why it's failing. Don't do that. It's also failing to tell me a story. It doesn't involve me in a story. It doesn't tell me a story. It just asks me something very quickly. A qualifying question maybe that you just ask me, am I interested? Would I be looking for whatever you're providing or offering? And that's why it's failing. And also you're directly asking me that. You're wanting me to respond back. You want me to give you a time that we can meet or talk. And you're doing it directly, and that's why it's failing. So these are the 5 main reasons why your prospect emails are failing, or at least they're not as good as they could be. Maybe they're not failing 100%, but the response rate is low, a little too low for comfort, isn't it? All right, so let's talk about the 4 elements of our persuasive hypnotic email. So these are the 4 things that your persuasive hypnotic email, prospecting email, should include. And this will double your response rate and generate more qualified pipeline if you do this, if you include these things. So first, obviously, you need to talk to the subconscious mind using hypnotic language. You need to put hypnotic phrases, hypnotic patterns in the email to talk to the subconscious mind of your prospect. Number 2, you need to align with your prospect's personal preferences. They have personal preferences. You need to align with them. If you don't know them, then you have to include all of them, and hopefully they'll pick up on one of them. And then whenever you follow up in the second email and a third email, then you can align more rigorously with whatever personal preferences you spotted from their first and second emails when they responded back to you. Also, you need to include indirect communication, because direct communication is not going to work for half the people you send your email to, because half of them prefer indirect communication and they can't tolerate a direct qualifying question or a direct response from you. They need an indirect way of talking to them, and that way it opens up to more people to respond than normally would by just changing it to an indirect communication email. Also, you have to break the pattern. You cannot have an email that looks like every other prospecting email out there. It has to be a pattern that they've never seen before. It's got to be something that gives the subconscious a really good feeling or an interesting feeling or something mysterious where it's curious, it wants to know more about it. Because you want to talk to the subconscious mind using a pattern that they've never seen before. It hooks them and captures their attention, and subconsciously they feel curious about it, and then they're more likely to follow up with you, to ask you about it, or to ask for more information. Remember, you're not including anything about your service or product in their hypnotic prospecting email, so they're going to want to respond to find out more about what you're offering. And that's where you address it in your follow-up emails, not your initial email. So that's a little tip there that I'm offering in this webinar, so that most people don't think about or don't know. Okay, now let's talk about case study number 2. I helped Amy prevent her prospect from going dark on her. Now, nobody likes it when our prospects go dark on us, where they just basically stop responding to us. It makes us nervous. It gets us a little concerned because we feel like maybe we have something going on, and then suddenly they're not communicating with us. So same thing was happening with Amy. I'm sure you can relate. She was emailing a prospect about her service that she offered, and she had already sent 2 or maybe even 3 emails back and forth with this prospect. Okay, and then suddenly he stopped responding to her follow-up emails. And she was confused because the prospect seemed very interested. He even said he was interested in what she had to offer. And so she was at a loss regarding what to do next to get him to respond. She just didn't know what to do. So I consulted with her, and I taught her about personal preferences. I taught her how to communicate indirectly with her prospect's conscious and subconscious mind at the same time, just like I mentioned at the beginning. You have to do that. I was able to help her rewrite her email to become a hypnotic prospecting email that would provoke action at the subconscious level. And within 15 minutes, her prospect responded telling her he was still interested in her service and to send him a quote. She was ecstatic, to say the least, and realized the power of hypnotic prospecting emails at that point. Now, she also learned how to do it herself because, again, I like to teach people how to fish so they can do it from now on, just like I do it. Now, what is the step-by-step process to write a hypnotic prospecting email that will double your response rate? Okay, first of all, you have to start with your existing prospecting email, of course. Just take any prospecting email that you have, and then remove anything that explains who you, your product, your service, or your company is, what you do, etc. You don't want to educate anyone with that first email. Take away all of that stuff out of your email. Also, convert any qualifying questions that you have in your current prospecting email and convert it to an indirect statement that contains embedded commands regarding an immediate call to action. Now, an embedded command is a hypnotic pattern. It's a hypnotic concept. You can look this up on the internet. You can find out what that is, but you want to make sure you embed those commands indirectly within your email. And then you want to add ambiguous or recitation story that the prospect can read and understand, and it draws them in and talks to their subconscious at the same time that it talks to their conscious mind. Again, you want to talk to both conscious and subconscious minds, okay? And then you want to change the formatting and the structure to appear unusual or uncommon. This is what breaks the pattern. It can't look like like anything else they've seen before. It has to be incorrect. It has to be different, uncommon, something they've never seen before. So the subconscious will just pick up the pattern, and it'll be curious, and then that prospect will want to talk to you more about why you sent this email, what do you offer, and then you get that second and third email back and forth. You can start to use the personal preference alignment, and then really kind of align with them and make them feel like they're talking to themselves, basically. And then that will strengthen the relationship, and then they'll finally want to talk to you. That's how I use it. This is the step-by-step process. Very simple, very easy to do. There's plenty of information out there. You can Google it to find out more about this. Now, let me talk about my personal story, case study number 3, how I accidentally discovered the power of hypnotic prospecting emails while working as a seller and as a hypnotist on the side. So I was working at Splunk as an inside sales engineer. I was also a hypnotist at night, helping people overcome their issues, like stop smoking, or maybe they wanted to stop eating so many sweets or something like that. And so in the beginning at Splunk, we had an incredible amount of inbound leads, okay? All these leads were coming in, 10, 20, 30 a day per sales rep. Okay, it was great. But then it started to decline once we had, and we had to start going outbound. So that was a kind of a pivotal moment in Splunk where we had to start doing outbound reach and outreach that we never had to do before for many years. We had so many inbound leads coming in and suddenly they were drying up. So we had to create outbound prospecting emails for the first time, and it proved really difficult for us, okay? So we weren't sure what to do or how to do it, and I will tell you, it was scary. It was scary when that started to happen. We just were not sure we were going to make it, actually. So one night I was hypnotizing a client to stay focused. Okay, he was getting distracted at work. He felt hypnosis would work. It did. I helped him. Gave him commands into his subconscious mind during hypnosis sessions to stay focused at work so he could not be distracted, he'd be focused. And then after the session was over, I happened to casually mention the issues that we were having with outbound prospecting at Splunk. And so he told me, he even asked me, why don't you hypnotize them? I said, what do you mean? I mean, I never even thought about this idea. And he says, an email is basically a script, right? Write an email as a hypnotic script. And I was like, wow, you're right. Like I'd never thought about that before. It was my own client that gave me the idea that an email is just like a script, like what I helped him with. I wrote scripts for him. I hypnotized him using scripts to put him into a trance and give him the commands, help him to stay focused. And now here I am thinking, yeah, he's right. I could totally write a hypnotic version of an existing prospecting email. And so I did that for one of my sales reps that I was supporting, and it worked. We got so much response back. Pretty soon I started writing more for the whole outbound prospecting team, and it kept working. And soon we had lead flow and pipeline growth once again because we were sending these hypnotic prospect emails. And I've been doing it ever since, every chance I get, and I teach people this, I consult on this now, and now I have a question for you. Are you struggling with getting your prospects to respond to your current emails or LinkedIn messages? Is your prospecting emails response rate a little too low for comfort for you? Are you continually stressed out and overly anxious and depressed and having trouble sleeping because your lead flow is drying up? Are you already a good prospector now, but you know you could get even better at it because you know there's more to it, you just don't know what to do exactly? Are you starting from scratch at writing your own hypnotic prospecting emails? And are you simply looking for a new way to become a better prospector overall? You're just looking for a new way, a better way to improve your prospecting skills. Well, then hypnotic prospecting might be for you. Now, if you want to stop struggling with prospecting emails that fail to work like you want, or if you want to improve your prospecting email response rate by 2x or more, and if you want to increase your lead gen and pipeline growth immediately, or if you want more self-confidence, more self-control, more self-assurance to achieve your prospecting goals faster, or if you just want to be a better email prospector, you just want to improve your skills and that's it, then enroll in my new course now, How to Write Hypnotic Prospecting Emails. It's a self-paced e-learning course. It has a bunch of videos, example scripts, PDFs, and more. And it's also comes with a risk-free money-back guarantee. So if you're not 100% completely satisfied, you will get your money back, no questions asked. Now, what's included in this hypnotic prospecting email course? You have the hypnotic language patterns, like ambiguities, like I talked about, recitation storytelling, negative language, pattern interrupts, indirect communication. Now, again, you can look for this on Google and figure this out, but this is going to be time consuming if you do it yourself. I include it in my course right now, and it's a $500 value because I've actually consulted up to $500 I've been paid to show people this part, these language patterns. But this is included in the course already. It also includes personal preference alignment, like the VAK modalities, which some of you may have heard of that. You can look that up on Google. Sameness versus differences people, towards versus away people, indirect versus direct communication, and those preferences that people have. I've consulted for just these ideas and concepts for $250 before in the past, just separately, just on that. Also, email text body language. I include email text modalities, email text mirror and matching, and email meta expectations. Now, I'm gonna tell you, this is nowhere to be found on the internet. I came up with this, I think, because I have not found anyone else talking about this. You can Google this. You're only going to find me talking about this, and I include all of these things, all of these secret ways to use the text email body language and take advantage of that to hypnotically persuade your prospects. And this right here is also something I've consulted, just talking about these concepts with individuals in coaching them. $250 I've been paid to do that. And then it also includes real working examples of hypnotic prospecting emails that actually have been used and actually work. I have 6 initial hypnotic prospecting emails examples and 5 follow-up hypnotic prospecting emails. Now, these are the ones you follow up with. In some cases, they're more important. The follow-ups are more important to apply the hypnotic patterns and to align with the personal preferences of your prospect in those follow-up emails. So I have a total of 11 of these real-life working hypnotic prospecting email examples, and I have actually shared these and used these and received over $1,000 for these. Okay, just by themselves. Okay. Now, in this course, they're all included. And if you put all these together, even with my risk-free money-back guarantee, where you're not going to pay unless you're 100% completely satisfied. The retail price of this is $2,000 for this course. But that's not what you're going to pay, okay? You're not going to pay that because you're watching this webinar today. It's only $997 if you act today. But wait, there's more. If you act today and enroll in my Hypnotic Prospecting Emails course that includes hypnotic language patterns, personal preference alignment, email text body language, 11 real working hypnotic prospecting email examples, and a risk-free money-back guarantee if you're not completely satisfied, you're going to get a 50% off coupon because you watched this webinar today. That's 50% off. So the total retail price now is reduced to an investment of only $497, which is a 76% savings, okay? Now, you have to act fast if you want to get this deal, because you watch this webinar. Act fast right now, enroll today, and I want to thank you for your time. Also, you can follow me on Clubhouse. If you decide not to buy my course and enroll in my course now, you can also follow me on TikTok, YouTube, Instagram. Like I said, Hypno Sales. If you go to YouTube and search Hypno Sales hashtag, I own that hashtag. Everything I have about hypnotic selling is all on my over 100 YouTube videos on YouTube, okay? So I want to thank you for your time. You can get in touch with me at maverick@mavmindmentor.com, and I hope that you decide now to invest in your future prospecting skills now. Thank you.